Holding space is about showing up authentically and creating safety in the moments that matter most. From parenting littles to navigating friendships and partnerships, I reframe tantrums, conflicts, and messy feelings as invitations to connection. I'm Julia Clark, a psychotherapist and play therapist with over 30 years of experience walking alongside children, families, and the people who care for them. Each episode explores the building blocks of emotional literacy, co-regulation, and boundaries, while honoring the intergenerational stories we carry within. Blending science with lived wisdom, I believe growth is playful, healing is possible, and we are all learning together. Hi, I'm Julia, and together we're holding space. Over the last several episodes, we've explored a lot together. Big feelings, rupture and repair, attachment patterns, defensiveness, connection. And if you've been listening all along, you might have noticed something. None of these moments are rare. They're not big, once-in-a-while experiences. They're the everyday ones. The morning rush, the bedtime pushback, the repeated mom, mom, mom. The tension with a partner. The moments where something small suddenly feels big. And it's in those moments that we often think, I just need to handle this better. Or, why does this keep happening? Today, I want to shift that perspective because regulation isn't something we do in those moments. It's something we build between them. This is where the work of Peter Levine gives us something really important to understand. Levine studied how animals in the wild experience stress and trauma. And what he noticed was this. When an animal is under threat, being chased, attacked, or startled, their body mobilizes instantly. Heart rate increases, muscles activate, energy surges. But when the threat passes, they don't just go back to normal. They discharge. They shake, they tremble, they release the energy that built up in their system. And then they return to baseline. You might have seen this before. A deer shaking after escaping a predator, or a dog trembling after a stressful moment. That shaking isn't weakness. It's completion. The nervous system finishing what it started. Now here's where this becomes really relevant for us. As humans, we're very good at interrupting that process. We override it. We push through. We move on quickly. We don't always give our bodies the space to complete what was activated. And when that happens, that energy doesn't disappear. It stays in the system. So later, something small happens, a tone, a voice, a spilled drink, a repeated mom, and suddenly the reaction feels bigger than the moment. Not because we're overreacting, but because something unfinished is still moving. This is why regulation isn't about staying calm all of the time. It's about supporting the movement. Activation and settling. Energy and release. Your nervous system is designed to move, not to stay in one place. And the goal isn't to control that movement. It's to recognize it and support the return. We've talked about different nervous system states across this series. Sympathetic is your activation. Dorsal, shutdown. Ventral is about connection and safety. But what matters just as much as the state is how we move between them. Because we don't get stuck because we enter a state. We get stuck when we can't move out of it. If you find yourself in a dorsal shutdown state, low energy, disconnected, foggy, the system doesn't need more stillness. It needs gentle activation. Small movements, a walk, stretching, even standing up and shifting your body. Not overwhelming. Just enough to begin waking the system up again. If you find yourself in an activated sympathetic state, where you're irritable, anxious, reactive, the system doesn't need more intensity. It needs playfulness and softening. This might look like a light tone of voice, a moment of humor, or a playful interaction with your child. Even something as simple as saying, "Okay, that got big. Whew, let's try that again." Play is not just for children. It's one of the fastest ways for the nervous system to return to safety. And when we come home to ventral vagal, that sense of calm, connection, and presence, we're not trying to stay there forever. We're building familiarity so we can return there more easily next time. And it's important to say we're not always in one state at a time. We move through blended states. You can feel overwhelmed and still show up. You can feel tired and still connected. And you can feel activated and still aware. This is what regulation begins to look like over time. Not perfection, but flexibility. So, what does this look like in your day? It might look like noticing you're holding your breath and letting it go. You're gripping something tightly and then softening your hands. You're moving quickly through the house and then slowing your pace just a little bit. It might look like pausing before responding, or choosing to sit beside your child instead of calling from another room, or even catching yourself mid-reaction and saying, "Whoop, let me try that again." These are small moments, but they change the trajectory of the nervous system. Let's look at co-regulation as a daily practice. And this is where everything comes together. Because your nervous system doesn't exist in isolation. It's always in relationship with your partner, your child, or your environment. The tone you use, the pace you move, the way you enter a room, these all shape the space around you. This doesn't mean you need to be calm all the time. That's not realistic. What matters is that there's a pathway back. Sometimes regulation looks like very ordinary moments, like realizing you've been clenching your jaw so tightly you could probably solve a problem just by relaxing your face. Or noticing you've been walking around like you're late for something, and then remembering you're not. Or laughing at the fact that the thing that just set you off was actually the fifth small thing in a row. These moments aren't failures. They're awareness, and awareness is where change begins. Let's take a moment and notice your body right now. Not to change anything, just notice. Your breath, your shoulders, your posture. And gently ask, is there anything here that wants to move? Is there anything here that wants to soften? Regulation isn't about doing more. It's about listening differently. And if there's one thing I hope you carry forward from this series, it's this. Safety isn't something we achieve. It's something we practice. Through small movements, through returning, through allowing our nervous system to complete what it begins, and through recognizing that we're not meant to stay in one state. We're meant to move, to activate and settle, to reach and return again and again. And the beauty of that is that it doesn't require perfection. It just requires presence. So as you move through your days, In the rushed moments and the quiet ones, the unexpected ones, remember, you don't have to get it right. You just have to come back. This is part of our Holding Space series, where we bring awareness, embodiment, and connection into the moments that shape our lives. And as we close out Season 1, I want to sincerely thank you for being here. Whether you've listened to one episode or all of them, thank you for spending this time with me, for your curiosity, your openness, and your willingness to reflect on relationships that matter the most. If this series has resonated with you, helped you see something differently, or supported you in some small way, I'd really be grateful if you'd take a moment to rate, review, or share the podcast. Those simple actions help those conversations reach more people and keep this message of connection moving forward. Thank you for being here. Thank you for walking through this series with me. And as always, thank you for holding space. If the content of this podcast really resonated with you and you'd like to go even deeper, I'd love to invite you to step into this work more fully. Beyond the podcast, there are many ways that we can connect. Individual therapy for your child, parent coaching or support for yourself, and deeper I Am sessions that explore intergenerational patterns. Additionally, I also offer webinar workshops and weekend retreats for parents, classes, intensive trainings and supervision for therapists, and large group presentations for educators or school presentations. Each are designed to help us hold space for the next generation of children in safe, attuned, and meaningful ways. You can learn more and explore what fits best for you at clarity.family.